The journey from selfishness to kindness. Let's talk about Train to Busan. While a zombie virus breaks out in South Korea, passengers struggle to survive on a train from Seoul to Busan. This is one line gist given about the movie on IMDb, and it is true. But the movie is much more than a zombie apocalypse, which makes it my favorite horror movie of the decade. In this review, I will not talk about the usual focus points like direction, cinematography, background score, acting, etc. Rather, we will dwell in the psychology and explore its relevance in the times of COVID-19 pandemic. Just 20 minutes into the movie and it becomes a series of desperate attempts for a human protagonist to survive in the face of an unstoppable threat. The underlying theme, empathy, not selfishness, is what separates humanity from the ravenous horde. In the beginning of the movie, we are introduced to the protagonist, who finds himself failing as a newly single father, preoccupied with his work as a cutthroat fund manager. The lack of connection with his daughter is apparent in their interactions. In fact, in the beginning of the movie, he is no less than the despicable and snooty executive we are introduced later on. The container of the train, which is the setting for the majority of the film, represents the mind. And this hypothetical mind is infested with zombies. The zombies are obstacles, relentless, pervasive, and inescapable. And the people on the train are the opportunities, the means by which mindfulness and character strengths can flourish. The movie unfolds the two opposites simultaneously. One, the foreboding and disastrous process of an ugly and scary zombie apocalypse, and its opposite, the development of the positive and loving relationship through the contagion of kindness in our main protagonist. In one of the key scenes, the protagonist instructs his daughter that a zombie apocalypse is a time for selfishness and not kindness. But Sue-Ann, the daughter, refuses to compromise her character strengths. She teaches her father about kindness, and she takes advantage of this opportunity for mindfulness. In this scene, she adds,
아빠는 자기밖에 몰라.
through these critical moments, alongside other wake-up calls which come in form of zombie attacks, the protagonist realizes how disconnected he is from his daughter, and his shift towards kindness and love is depicted. Another moment comes when a fellow passenger sacrifices his own life to save his pregnant wife and asks the protagonist to take care of her.
쟤 좀 데리고 빨리 가. 넌 가, 이 새끼야, 빨리. 우리 성경이 좀 부탁한다. 어?
This teaches him the value of self-sacrifice and optimism at the same time. A cynical person cannot sacrifice, and sacrifice without optimism is worthless. The protagonist becomes more mindful and caring as he moves towards a more protective, self-sacrificing fatherly love, and this culminates in his ultimate sacrifice of his own life. He shows mindfulness and care for his daughter, securing her with another kind survivor and then taking the plunge to death. In his last moments, he achieves psychological redemption as he rediscovers the value of his daughter and the unseen possibilities. His journey from self-preservation to self-sacrifice was complete. He is no longer a failure as a father. He thus achieved the highest form of psychological development, freedom from self. Let's rewatch the starting scene of the movie. Seems familiar, right? From its recognizable portrayal of mass panic to the horror of the word quarantine, Train to Busan just slaps harder in times of COVID-19 pandemic. Similarities can be drawn between the opening scene of the movie, where a farmer shrugs off the warning about a chemical spill. In a similar manner, so many people neglected the looming threat of COVID-19 6 months ago. Train to Busan nailed the way pandemics spread psychologically. First, comes apathy and denial, then panic, followed by survival, and ultimately acceptance and adaptation. The movie depicts an accurate portrait of how a society fractures in a pandemic. On one hand, people behave with ruthless cruelty, and on the other, they show courageous kindness. The wealthy push themselves to the front of the line for safety. The uninfected fear the infection with an almost rabid passion. Parents make sacrifice for their children. The survivors on Train to Busan are lucky because of the sacrifice of others. This stands true in case of COVID-19 also. Social commentary aside, it is also just a wildly fun action movie, beautifully paced and constructed with just the right amount of character and horror. In many ways, it's what World War Z should have been, a nightmarish vision of the end of the world and a provocation to ask ourselves what it is that really makes us human in the first place. Train to Busan has the potential of becoming a modern classic because of the way it makes a national zombie crisis an intimate story of humanity. The movie does fall for the genre tropes in the climactic scenes, but it will endure as a masterpiece of its genre because of the attention it gives to humanity and as a haunting mirror reflection of life under COVID 19. And this is why I love Train to Busan. You can watch Train to Busan on Netflix. If you like the video, kindly hit the like button and share the video. For more videos like this, kindly subscribe. Till next time, stay safe and have a good time.